Hi everybody, it's Diane. I am working on a new project journal. I'm always excited to get started on a new project, and this is what it is. They are going to be fabric covered journals, and I'm using this vintage fabric. It was from a pillowcase. I just cut the pillowcase apart, and it might have been a homemade pillowcase. It kind of reminds me of a tablecloth fabric. So it looks like embroidery, like a chain stitch, making all of these designs. It's just printed on there, but it looks like a folk art embroidery, which I love. So I centered the rooster on this piece and got the vase of the bowl of flowers as best I could in the center on this piece. And then on the inside, I used a vintage tablecloth, and I had cut these pieces out of the tablecloth, so I didn't have the full piece anymore, but I pieced it together to cover the whole inside because this is blue and green, and so I picked this because it's blue and green. And this one is also pieced over here. So I used a piece of cardstock, I folded it in half, and I sewed the tablecloth piece around it onto the cardstock, and then I added this piece and glued it down, and then sewed off the edge of the cardstock. So it's just going to be a frayed edge, but the cardstock is enclosed. So now I'm going to decorate. Before I get into that though, I just wanted to show you a couple things that I did on my vacation. I had shown you, I did a video showing some ephemera. I did these on camera, but I didn't finish them. I did some more, and then I stitched all the way around all of them. So I just wanted to give you a quick look at these completed pieces. They are made with coffee dyed paper and vintage wallpaper, and some other, like this is a ledger paper, music paper that was stenciled with modeling paste, and that one also, and an old ledger, really old ledger from 1825, and that's the same 1825 ledger. So I really love the way they turned out, and I might make some more of them sometime. When I showed you the ephemera that I made with my Cricut, or my Big Shot, I had already put these items away, so I forgot to show you. And these were a big batch of items. So I have these dies that cut a shape like that, and I just made a bunch of pockets that I can trim shorter or whatever I need to do when it's time to use them. I'm going to trim that off because this messed up. So I did it on the other side, and so of course I'll just trim that part off. But I pulled these particular ones out because the colors go well with these. So they're going to be sitting nearby so I can use them as pockets if I want to. But I also, these are all just scraps. Well, these and these were from some cardstock that I bought, but this is from a scrap of pattern paper. So I just have them handy to use as pockets when I want them. And then these same things that you just saw, but in these colors. And then the other thing that I made was some envelopes. So this is a Graphic 45 die set, and it has some other pieces, labels and things in it, but it comes with the little circles that you cut out to make the little, I don't even know what they're called, but they're the little circles that you attach to the envelope and then wrap string around them. So I just took scraps. These are all scrap pieces. They have to be sort of large scraps because it's a big die when it's opened up. But these were all scraps. So I just made a bunch of envelopes, and I'll have them handy. This was actually scrap paper that I had pieced together for a project to make a bigger page, and then this was left over from that. So it has 3 different pieces on there. I thought that would make a fun pocket. So that's it. That's what I wanted to show you, because I forgot them in the other video. So I gotta get these little circles put away because I don't want them getting lost. So I'll have to work on putting the circles and adding the string and all that for these. Okay, now let's get into this project. We are going to decorate, oops, sorry, I'm trying to turn my light on here. We're going to decorate the covers. And I have some pieces here that I want to use for decorating. This is a piece of chenille trim. It came, fringe. It came off of a chenille bedspread, probably. I believe that Sarah sent that to me. She has sent me lots of chenille bits, and I think that probably came from her. But it was already cut pretty close to the edge. I had to trim it just a little bit more, and I've used it in other journals, and I just put it with my fringes. I just treat it like a fringe because that's what it is. So I'm going to use that at the bottoms. And gotta remember, what did I have on this? I pulled everything off so I could show you the covers, and now I don't remember. Was this here, or was it on this one? You know, I got this new mat while I was on vacation, and it took me 2 days. I think this was on this one. It took me 2 days to figure out, after I got this mat and put it on my table here, to realize what was causing the funny smell in my craft room. What stinks in here? Well, it's this mat, because it's new. It's got that new plastic smell. So now it doesn't bother me so much now that I know where it came from, but I'll be glad when that odor is dissipated. It's not horrible, but it was just kind of a funky smell. This is a fuzzy chenille trim too. I guess it's chenille, or no, it's not chenille, it's just loops of yarn, but it was a trim. I think somebody sent that to me, and I think it's really fun, and I've used it, and I'm using it again. Okay, so I think I'm just going to glue things on like this, and then I've got some buttons that I might be able to embellish with. So let's just start gluing. I'm going to put this on top of my shiny new mat. Wonder how long it'll be before I don't need to be careful with my new mat anymore. When I get to the point where, oh, it's going to get dirty, it's going to get messy, it's a craft mat, deal with it. I'm not at that point yet. I've gotten my other mats in the fabric departments of the craft stores. The first one I used was one I actually had for fabric, you know, cutting quilt squares and stuff. So I just used that for my table mat. And then when I absolutely had to replace it, I found one at Hobby Lobby that was half price. So I got that. And then I think I wanted this to go underneath. So I've been looking for another good price on one, and I can't catch them half price. Maybe they don't do it anymore. So I did buy a smaller size one and tried using that, and I'm not giving up on it, but it just seemed like it was getting buried under stuff. I just need to learn how to function with a smaller mat, I guess. But this one was, it's We Are Memory Keepers one, I think. Is that what it is? Yeah, We Are Memory Keepers. It's a cutting mat. So it wasn't with the sewing stuff, it was with the craft stuff. And I think I got it at Joann's? I can't remember. It was either Joann's or Hobby Lobby, because I didn't go to Michael's on my vacation. and it wasn't badly priced. It wasn't, I don't think it was as high as the sewing mats are, but it's one-sided. It doesn't have the grid on the other side, which is kind of a shame, because when one side got really bad, I would flip it over. But I could still do that. I don't need to have the grid, I suppose. It does come in handy. I use the measuring, well, you see me use the grid quite a bit, lining things up on it. So anyway, I'll glue some stuff on here and then we'll look at the buttons. I think that one's going to be on top of the fringe. You can hear somebody mowing their lawn. So I spent quite a bit of time yesterday and again today, whoops, sorry, getting a whole bunch of books and things listed in my shop. And so I got them listed right around lunchtime, and the video up right around lunchtime today. It is Tuesday as I make this video. I think I'm a few videos ahead, so I don't know when you'll see this, but so it's nice to be able to actually sit down and work on this journal. I did do the covers yesterday. This is a piece of trim, ruffled twill from Hobby Lobby. I got several years ago, clearanced. I got this color and yellow. I got a whole big reel of it, of both of them, and I put them in my shop way back then, but I kept some pieces for myself. So there we go. Let's look at some buttons. I have white buttons and green. I didn't bring blue buttons over. Why didn't I bring the blue buttons over? Here they are. Look at that. That's a very pretty button. Some are new buttons and some are vintage. This one has a pattern around it. There's more vintage in this. I think almost all of these are vintage. Got glue all over my fingers and stuff is sticking to them. I have that little square that got cut off of something. I think that button was a little big. I will put some thread through the buttons. I won't do that on camera, but I'll put thread through them and glue them down. I want to see if I want to do anything to the back. I'll have to do something to the back of this one because well, I don't have to, but there's a stain there. So I'll probably cover that. I don't want to put a button on the back because I want it to be able to lay pretty flat on the back. But I think I do like that. I might need one more piece of something so it's an odd number. Okay. And I'm going to pick out some linen pieces, scraps, some lace pieces, and things like that that I can use as tabs on the pages. And I don't know if I'll have time to actually pull some fabrics for fabric flips or not, but I have them over here with me. Some pieces that I could use. There are scraps from this actual pillowcase that I want to use as either just embellishments or part of the fabric flips. Okay, so I think besides the buttons, which I will add, I can glue that down. That pretty much takes care of the cover. And I will probably sew some ribbon right on here for tying it closed. looking through my scraps of linens here for something to cover that. I think that will make a good embellishment, those 3 pieces. What are you all working on? Probably by the middle of October I will start on Christmas journals. And right now it's the middle of September, so I have a month to work on some other projects before I start on Christmas journals. I don't know how many Christmas journals I will make. I'll figure that out once I get out my supplies and see the covers and fabrics and things that I have. And I don't want to make a ton, but I always end up making more than I say I'm going to with Christmas. But I will certainly have supplies to put in my shop for Christmas journal kits. Sorry, I just bought 4 Christmas placemats that are really cute, the square ones. I showed them in my flea market haul this week. So I might use one of those for a journal, but I'll be selling some of those also. I will figure out some pockets, at least on the back. I made it so that the image was kind of empty at the bottom so that I could put a pocket down here without covering things up. And the front will probably just have a label, "This book belongs to" type of label. So we picked out buttons for that one. And now I need some buttons for this one. Now this is pretty awesome, attached right to the card. It would be neat if I could use that, maybe in another journal, because it's pretty big for that. But how about this? I don't know. I want to do that on something. This button has printing on it. Great Britain, 1969, South End. South End on Sea. That's pretty cool. My daughter came over to visit me yesterday. Sometimes when she finishes work, when she doesn't have the boys at her house, sometimes, you know, when they're at their dad's house, she will come to my house before she goes home and visit. So she did that yesterday. That was really nice. So we had a good long visit, because when she comes, it's usually, oh, it was a little after 3:30 yesterday, and she usually stays till her husband gets home around 7. But I'm really glad that my daughter lives near and my son lives near. And I'm glad they like hanging out with their old mom. Okay, I think this is what we're going to do. And again, I will put thread through those before I glue them down. But I can glue this piece down. Oh, I forgot. The button was just sitting on it. Set those aside. Take care of my buttons so I have room for doing other stuff. I wish I had a shelf that I could put my pretty jars of buttons on. This one even has a pretty little lid. It's a Pioneer Woman jar. I think I have 2 of those. I just don't have shelf space for them. They hide out in a drawer. And I'm not sure where these jars came from. I don't remember. And then I just have some in baggies. But they are pretty well sorted. I refrained from buying buttons this year at the flea markets. Because I don't need any. Why are buttons so fun? I don't know. I do have my pages cut and prepared for decorating. And I used some wallpaper digitals. These are, I think they're from TLC Creates Vintage, and they're Sears wallpapers. And obviously I printed one smaller than the other. These have been in my stash. And these printables, I don't remember. Are they, I don't remember. But I had these printed also. Coffee dyed scrapbook paper and some children's book paper. These are my wallpapers that I made digitals of. That one's mine also. And a piece of stationery in the middle. So I do want to prepare some tabs. At least 3 tabs for each journal. I have this little container that just has scraps of linen pieces when I cut off laces and embroidered designs and things from linens. I save the plain pieces and do all kinds of things with them. Oh, I do want to put some buttons on some of these tabs, so I'm glad the buttons didn't go very far away. I think I'll just put some white or cream ones on the tabs. Probably, and I won't put buttons on all of the tabs, just some. So that would be a cute tab. just little scraps of lace in here. This is just a little sheer part of a lace. So when I sew that to the page, then I'll sew down the middle to sew that lace on, and then I will hand stitch this button on, and that will be a tab. I have a piece of a quilt. That's a nice sturdy piece, so I think I'll go ahead and sew a button on that. These are really cute, these little buttons. Look at that. I think that's all that needs. It'll have some stitching on it, and then I'll put the button on it. And I'll save this piece for when I want some pink in the journal. I've got a piece of what do you call this? The cross stitch material. Oh, I know the name of it, but I can't remember it. I have this little blue trim that I just got at the flea market. That would be cute on this. And I can use a pin to hold that on. That makes a charming little tab, doesn't it? I should probably make up a bunch of tabs like this just to keep in my stash. I'm going to make one similar to that for both journals, because I really like that fabric, or that trim. It was really cute. Letting the fringed part hang down. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. I need at least 2 more. How about just a piece of lace? These are tiny, tiny pieces. I don't have any lace in my scrap bucket. Sorry. That would be good for that. Let me grab something else. Maybe something in this. These are longer pieces of lace. Nope, I guess not. Maybe that. That would make a pretty tab. Just all by itself. That would make a nice tab. Okay, so that's 6 tabs I have ready, or almost ready. Ready for me to sew anyway. I can move a lot of this stuff that I brought over here out of my way. And I may use some more of these fabrics and trims and things as I work on decorating the pages. I think I better do something with this pile of linen pieces. It's getting overflowing, so I am going to plan a project for those. Even if it's just a whole bunch of tabs. Get these things out of my way. Now, we can at least look at the fabrics I have pulled out for fabric flips. These are pieces from that pillowcase that the covers are done with, so I can certainly use some of these bigger pieces for a fabric flip. It's hemmed on one side. There's my book page. Don't want it to be too wide. And I probably won't add too much to them because I want the prints to show, but I'll add a little something. I pulled out some fabrics that might go. I like this. It needs to be ironed. I guess it doesn't matter which way it goes. And then I would add a piece of trim or lace or something across the top. Maybe that. Wonder if this one would look better. Maybe. I think that would show up better. So I do have some pieces I need to iron from a few weeks ago, some linens from the flea market that I washed and I have to iron, so I'll probably do that this evening, and so I can get these little pieces ironed. I don't like to get the iron out just for a couple little pieces, but I want to do those others, so I might as well get them all done. Okay, and then I'll add a little something else to them. I don't know what yet, but that's a start on that fabric flip. And these little pieces I can use to make embellishments or just to sew onto a page or something for fun. I do want to use some of these pieces in the journal because of using them on the cover. I love the little houses. It's a great piece. This pillowcase was a great piece. And this tablecloth piece has these images like you saw, but it also has the parts with just the blue line design. Really pretty. So I can make, I don't know how many flips. I won't do more than 2 flips in the journal because they're only one signature journals. But I think maybe, or I could use one of these for a pocket. I think that would be a really pretty pocket. There's a page. Don't worry, I'll turn it right side up. I just need to get the height. And I can use some rickrack on it. Or that. Well, the journals are the same size, so I'll do another piece the same size. Okay, so I have 2 fabric flips started and some tabs and a couple of pockets. Let's try one more fabric flip for each journal. I have this piece, which came from my Moda Flea Market Fresh bundle. It's just a rather neutral piece, and it has a tiny little label. You really have to get up close to see it, but it's got this little label there, and you can't even read it. It has it on different colors, and on some of the colors you can read it says handmade by, I think, but you can't read it on this, so it doesn't really matter what it says. So maybe one of these embellishment pieces can be on the neutral fabric. I want it to be a little longer than that. I was thinking tearing it in half to share between the journals, but we'll be a little more generous than that. That's cute. We don't want it to be, I gravitate to blue because I love blue, but this journal cover is blue and green, so let's get some green going in there. Alright, I need one more of those. often do this while I'm watching TV. I get a big tray on my lap. I have a big wooden tray, and I have fabrics and pins and lace bits and work on these, but tearing the fabrics while I'm sitting on the couch watching TV. I have a wastebasket near me, but threads everywhere. I can just applique that to it and then put a little lace at the top. Okay, that's a good start on the journals. I don't have to do any stenciling because there's no white sides of the pages. When I printed the wallpaper pieces, I printed ledger on the back. But I can stencil if I want to just add a design on something. I've got these pockets to play with. And I have other pockets to play with also. These were all in my stash. This is actually a digital one, but I thought the colors might go well, but I only have one. I don't want to print another. I have some of my Tim Holtz pockets, slotted pockets that I'll have to choose a color that I like if I want to use them. Some of these coffee filters that I got in a Happy Mail. And just some pockets that I made out of scraps. This was a printable, this pocket. I thought the colors might go, but I only have one of those, so I could put this in one journal and this in the other maybe, if I decide to use them. I have these fun pockets that I cut with my Cricut. They have 2 cards in them. They're really cute. And then I have these denim pockets that I got at Hobby Lobby on clearance for 20 cents. And they'd be cute in a farm journal, but they would be cute in this journal too. So I don't know. They're here in case I want to use them. Well, I'm going to end this video here, and we'll see where we go with the next video and what I get done off camera. But I thank you for watching. Tell me what you think of these new journal covers, this new journal project, and I will see you in the next video. And I hope you have a creative day today. Bye-bye.